awesome, like in a totally devious context, Paul Skenes is ruining all of this for them. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning from Philadelphia. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Phillies 1, Pirates 0. That's right, pal. You guessed the score before I even began speaking it, even if you missed the game, because that's how these go. Skenes went all 8 innings that the Pirates pitched and thus recorded his first official complete game in the majors. Allowed 1 run on 3 hits, all of them singles, 1 walk. He struck out 9. He got 22 swings and misses out of the 55 swings that the Philadelphia batters took. If that's the only thing that sinks in from what I say to you on this episode, let it be that. Let it just be that. That's how incredible he was. That's the scope of this kid's talent. This wasn't some scrub operation that he was doing this to. The Phillies might have, they're easily a top 5 lineup in baseball, but I could take them top 3, and on a given day, I would take them over pretty much anybody. And they're loaded, 1-9. He didn't care because he was better than all of them. And he gets nothing. Not just from the guys on the field. They're trying. They are who they are. They are what they are. But they are, as a composition, what they are because of this general manager, because of Ben Cherington. And Cherington's still employed. Cherington is still the general manager of this team. He's not going to be at season's end. You can take that to the bank, but he's hanging around now. Why? I don't know. Met with Bob Nutting a few days ago. He explained his angle on it to me, and I relayed that to you, that he felt that if you take Cherington out, then you create lame ducks throughout the organization, and everyone kind of loses their will and their way for 2025. And you know what? Right now, I don't care. After spending this weekend here in Philadelphia with the 26 players in that clubhouse, with this remarkable new/old manager in Don Kelly. I can't think of Donnie as anything new, sorry. And seeing the energy that he had, the fire that he had, I'm not just talking about yelling at an umpire, I'm talking about behind the scenes, stuff that people don't get to see, the way he carries himself, his office, clubhouse, meeting with people individually. He's part of the solution. Skenes, part of the solution. Handful of others, part of the solution or very potentially part of the solution. This GM is dead man walking. And until you cleanse the palate there, until you take that big chug of water to get rid of that foul taste of everything that's happened to this organization in the past half decade, it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change. Trust me, based on multiple conversations that I had at Citizens Bank Ballpark with these guys, and I'm talking about with the players, they feel like, okay, that move happened with the manager, but what's really going on? What's really different? They love Kelly. They're ready to go battle for Kelly. And they're ready to do that for each other, including Skenes. You know what they're missing? Yeah, talent. They need a lot more of it. You know why they don't have it? Because this GM wouldn't recognize a hitter if he walked up to him holding a great big sign that said hitter on it. I'll keep quoting my friend the scout who said he wouldn't recognize Mickey Mantle from Mickey Mouse. And so here they are. This is where they are. Nick Solak is up from the minors. Now, really good dude. Got to talk with him the other day, got all emotional about his recall. Good story anytime that happens. He's 30 years old. He comes up He was hitting 395 down there. He was the most deserving player, legitimately, to come up from Indianapolis. But what's being said here? What are you admitting in the process? You don't have anybody. You don't have anything to show. For 6 years of acquiring young players, you don't have a single one in Indianapolis to fill in when needed. What you have is that lineup that went out there yesterday that faced Philadelphia child recall up for one start. And they're sending him right back, by the way. I already forgot his name. I'm sorry. Also, I don't care because I don't cover the Phillies. He comes up and he looks totally comfortable. This kid, like he'd been up for years. Why? Because he was facing these guys. He was facing the Pirates. He was facing Cherington's creation. I'm going to say this again for emphasis. He's still here. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be employed by the Pirates. I don't care what abstract thought Nutting had in his head in keeping him. I don't care that maybe he secretly hoped that Kelly could get the troops rallied and just have them all playing up to par and stop underperforming. One of Cherington's favorite terms. Complete lie, by the way, the underperforming thing. Statistically easily debunked. Classic case of gaslighting. But Nutting's buying it, or he's not. One way or another, Cherington's still here, and the whole thing is still stupid. And this is how it plays out on the field. Skenes goes out there and puts together a pitching performance that was, I don't know. If it wasn't the best in the majors this year, it couldn't have been far from it. The level of dominance with the obvious statistics and the underlying statistics were mind-blowing. And to do it against that team on their field and no support and anything else, it was amazing. And yet, what happened on the other end of it wasn't at all. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from John, who says, Dan, would it be possible for Bob Nutting to find out who on Ben Cherington's staff was mainly in charge of acquiring and developing pitching? Because if so, he could keep those folks and fire everyone else. And then he could bring in a hitting-focused GM tasked with acquiring, developing hitters while incorporating and developing guys like Jared Jones, Thomas Harrington, Bubba Chandler, etc. Is that feasible? No, John, it's not. Respectfully. It's not for, well, a couple of reasons. The first is going to be the most realistic reason, and that is that if you bring in a new GM who's worth anything at all, he's going to want to have his people. He's going to want to have his philosophies adhered to in both hitting and pitching and everything else, scouting, instruction, everything. And secondly, you wouldn't want to handcuff him to anybody associated with this administration. Now, I say that within the category of straight up baseball ops. Like, for example, let's say the Pirates have somebody who's just an ace at arbitration negotiations. Believe it or not, that's a full-time job. I know. This is why they can't afford players, but they have one of those. And if he's the greatest arbitration guy on the planet, you can keep him and not really risk, any sort of continuity. But when you're talking about the broader system, and that means from the Dominican Summer League all the way up to Indianapolis, that, by the way, is where development is supposed to stop. It's not supposed to continue in Pittsburgh. It only continues in Pittsburgh because the people below Pittsburgh suck at it. You would want somebody to come in who's really sharp and has not only ideas, but also people. And hear me out on this, John. I don't think I've ever shared this on this show before. There are candidates for GM jobs in perpetuity. There are candidates everywhere. I hear from them. They know what their plan is if they go into a city and take over a team. They're not flying blind. They're not winging it. They have who they want around them. They can actually be, dirty little secret, on different teams. But they talk. They communicate. So-and-so from who knows where gets hired. Comes in as the GM. He already knows, like he can come up with you, or he can come up for you with his entire media directory listing. That's how detailed they'd be. And he would come here with those people. Now, it might not be that split second because that looks kind of bad. But you'll see them within a week or two or whenever it is that hiring process begins. So they're out there. They're available. They're way better than this guy. And they could come in tomorrow and get things going. But no, it would not be with the same pitching people. Oh, by the way, those same pitching people haven't been all that great. Don't give anybody but the Lord above credit for Paul Skenes, and let's reserve judgment on everybody else. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. I'm going to be back with another one of these tomorrow.